Made in Hollywood.
The crime drama series American Rust, Broken Justice, starring Jeff Daniels and Maura Tierney, is made in Hollywood.
Whatever your definition of the American dream is, and for these people in this show, maybe it's just like a stress-free life. Maybe it's just peace.
Made in Hollywood.
Also on today's show, Louisa Harland and Jolie Richardson star in the 18th century adventure series Renegade Nell.
The coats that I had to wear weighed more than me physically. So that made the fight sequences harder, and it made riding a horse more uncomfortable.
Plus, the mystery thriller Sleeping Dogs features Russell Crowe and Karen Gillan. Roma Downey stars in the family drama series The Baxters, and David Krumholtz leads an all-star cast in the subversive comedy Lousy Carter. This week on Made in Hollywood.
Made in Hollywood.
Now available on your home screen. A string of murders threatens to unravel a small, tight-knit community as Jeff Daniels and Maura Tierney return for Season 2 of the crime drama series American Rust, Broken Justice.
Nobody understands some of the things you have to do when you wear a badge. Put away the bad man, or if the system won't do it. You need to make things right, no matter the cost.
We'd worked out basically our entire season, and then we thought we weren't going to be able to tell it. And so we got rescued by Prime Video.
We're about 4 months after the end of season 1. There's kind of a bunch of new people in his life, including Grace.
Body was found at 8:32 a.m. No witnesses, no suspects.
What I love about American Rust is when you scratch underneath the surface of rust, you get steel. So you see very durable people dealing with the cards that they're dealt.
I think Harris shot both guys and then switched up the guns.
As soon as I'm reelected, I'm going after Harris.
She's starting from physically a different place because she's living with Dell, but he's spending a lot of time in Pittsburgh.
Some of my favorite scenes in season 2 are when Maura, as Grace, goes on the rant, when she challenges the whole room. They're fun scenes to watch.
That woman sent my son to prison where he was nearly murdered, waiting for a trial that never should have happened.
I feel like it's a real universal experience. It doesn't matter whether you're in a small town or a big city.
I mean, all of these characters just yearning, wanting, needing more.
This is your last chance for me to protect you in all this.
I don't need your protection.
Am I being charged with something here? Because if not, I believe you need a warrant.
Whatever your definition of the American dream is, and for these people in this show, maybe it's just like a stress-free life. Maybe it's just peace, which is all they really want.
If you say American dream, I think that is a goal, to have some sense of peace or contentment or safety, which is not achievable for everybody.
Whether the American dream is alive or not, it certainly is with Grace, and she's striving to achieve that American dream.
Even from the beginning, this was always about the broken American dream.
There is that hope and dream, but then like the only thing in your own way is yourself. I think it's a really interesting question of what is the American dream?
It's me I don't trust.
My evil way.
Coming up, Louisa Harland and Jolie Richardson star in the fantasy adventure series Renegade Nell, and the crime thriller Sleeping Dogs features Russell Crowe and Karen Gillan. To find out where to watch any movie, check out MoviePhone.com. Find it, watch it.
The coats that I had to wear weighed more than me physically. So that made the fight sequences harder, and it made riding a horse more uncomfortable.
Made in Hollywood. Made in Hollywood.
Now available on your home screen. After being framed for murder, a courageous young woman sets off on a magical quest to fulfill her destiny as Louisa Harland and Jolie Richardson star in the adventure series Renegade Nell.
You know what I've seen?
I think you're Nellie Jackson.
You don't want to mess with me. And don't call me Nellie. It's testament to Sally's writing because I just knew who the person was, really.
From the one script, I couldn't put it down. Sally had brought all these elements in. She'd put them in a pot and made them work. But reading the script, rather than thinking about who's going to direct it or where it's going to go, I was just thinking, does it work? And do I really want to find out what happens at the end?
It was sort of scale and spectacle and violence, like it was this magical, crazy world that was not what I expected from the pen of Sally Wainwright.
I think it's a testament to the writing. It really subverts your expectations episode by episode.
That's just how brilliant the writing is, that it was just, it just lifted off the page.
She shot him!
I didn't, it was him!
No one's going to believe someone like me against the powerful.
Initially, I just saw my character because in series television, they just give you it sort of script by script. But I just saw this crazy, overblown nightmare of a woman, and I was like, yes, they offered it to me.
She fights as though she's possessed. Something happens to me, and I'm untouchable.
It has all the hallmarks of a fairy tale.
I was on a green screen, and so I was lucky I had a lot of the stuff that Louisa had already shot as a reference, but Louisa didn't have much to go on, just like a stick and a pair of eyes.
Nellie Jackson!
We ended up shooting all of Louisa's side first. It meant that we were basing our green screen shoot on an edit, which was great because we knew we needed 10 seconds of this and then 1 second of him jumping from a gun to a bedstead. But it meant that Louisa and Nick were never on set performing together.
No mortal will touch her. So we must entrap her.
You're going to die, Nellie Jackson.
Yeah, well, I was never going to die in bed.
Oh, good God.
The coats that I had to wear weighed more than me physically. So that made the fight sequences harder, and it made riding a horse more uncomfortable, let alone a heat wave in London, which we'd usually be very, very thankful for. And while filming this, we weren't.
That was a big part of it for me. I love all that wigs and makeup and, you know, restoration comedy and high heels and stuff. It's definitely part of like English culture that is so much fun.
In England, we don't have air conditioning. So imagine a heat wave plus wigs, plus a ton of makeup, plus, you know, layers, corsets, and a little dog. So it's funny, when you see the product, it looks so amazing and so wonderful, but often the reality is very different.
Everyone's trying to do their job, so you don't want to smush the makeup, you don't want to move the mic. So... yeah, I mean, but we're well taken care of as well. And there were lots of fans, no air conditioning, but lots of electric fans and stuff like that.
But yeah, Tom Pye did incredible work. I felt like completely sewn in to the centimeter of myself.
Yeah. Most incredible sandbox of stuff to play with, that you had costumes of that detail and that much, that much fun. It was easy for me because I was in shorts and t-shirt.
Nellie Jackson.
Nellie Jackson.
Nellie.
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 Nellie Jackson.
Yeah, don't call me Nellie.
Nellie.
An ex-homicide detective suffering from memory loss struggles to solve a murder from his forgotten past as Russell Crowe and Karen Gillan star in the mystery thriller Sleeping Dogs.
What's this about?
Blunt object to the head.
I'm sorry. I don't understand. None of it.
When I first read the script, I was like, oh, this is a really fun, twisty thriller, sort of whodunit, and I definitely didn't see the ending coming. So that one caught me off guard.
The book kind of presented as this murder mystery. In adapting it, we chose to lens it through the eyes of the character that Russell Crowe is ultimately playing, the character Roy Freeman, who's this man who's struggling with Alzheimer's.
We'll be boring the electrodes in the memory centers and the temporal and parietal lobes.
While the movie retains the murder mystery, the lens through which the story is told is very different from the book.
I'm doing a clinical trial. I forget a lot of stuff. My doctor says I gotta keep my mind active. Joseph Weider's murder. Doesn't make sense.
First of all, she's a person who wears many masks and assumes different personalities depending on who she's interacting with and what she wants out of the situation. But on top of that, this movie is told from various perspectives of different characters.
I ain't no killer. Make it right, or I'm dead. He tells me he didn't do it.
The first time I had a proper scene with him and I watched him sort of act for the first time in person, I was like, oh, that's why he's a movie star. The quality that makes a person a movie star, he has that, a lot of it.
He's been doing it such a long time that I think when he walks onto a set and he sees, just for argument's sake, 2 cameras set up, he wants to know what lens is that, what lens is that, because he really just wants to know what is the frame in which I'm doing my work.
Like, he's very aware of the camera and very sort of technically savvy. He just seems like he really understands movie making, all of it, not just the acting part.
She's got no address, no social media, nothing.
There was always people visiting the house.
You know, noir, thriller, whodunit, like all of that stuff is always really, really fun to watch. I really like films like that.
It was a great collaboration because she was just really on board with trying to bring the story to life.
To find out where to watch any movie, check out MoviePhone.com. Find it, watch it. Up next, Roma Downey stars in the family drama series The Baxters, and the subversive comedy Lousy Carter features David Krumholtz.
I came to the Baxters series as a fan of the books. As you know, they're based on a best-selling book series.
Made in Hollywood. Made in Hollywood.
Now available on your home screen. Based on the best-selling book series, a family's close-knit bond is put to the test after a shocking secret comes to light as Roma Downey stars in the faith-based drama, The Baxters.
1, 2, 3, Baxter! I'm a little worried about Carrie and Tim. They don't look at each other the same way anymore.
Carrie.
I came to the Baxters series as a fan of the books. As you know, they're based on a best-selling book series by wonderful, amazing, talented author Karen Kingsbury.
Karen Kingsbury, who wrote the series of books, she sold 25 million copies. So you know this is hitting somewhere. But it's one thing to read it, and then it's another thing to actually see it.
I mean, back when I first wrote Redemption, this was now like 20 years ago, my dad, who was my biggest fan and biggest cheerleader, he read it and he said, Karen, this book, everyone's going to want to know about Redemption and the Baxters. And I know who you need to call. You need to call Roma Downey. And of course I said, well, Dad, you know, I don't have her number. So not sure how we do that.
A friend gave me the first book, which is called Redemption, and I just couldn't put it down. I thought, oh my gosh, this is amazing. It needs to be a TV series.
More than a decade later, I get a call from Roma and she says, Karen, I have loved the Baxters. And she said, I would like your blessing to make these books into a TV show. And I will never forget that moment.
Tim is in love with another woman. I keep going over it in my mind, and I have no idea how we got to this point.
My faith is a part of my life. I'm not a guy who beats people over the head with it. It's for me, and I keep it for me. I think that that's the part of John that I relate to, and the part that I think is honorable.
You cannot move beyond this guilt until you find the courage to allow yourself to just feel.
Forgiveness happens once. Healing takes a lifetime.
I don't think we often get to see a family that's praised together in a TV series. And Elizabeth Baxter, in the first episode, you'll see Elizabeth and John Baxter hold hands, and they'll call in prayer for their daughter in the name of Jesus. And it's really touching.
You're my sister. You have always been there for me.
I'm
I'm still scared. But you're not alone. We're your family.
I'm really encouraged by what I see in the film industry in terms of inspirational and uplifting content in the last few years. I don't know that we've seen as many faith TV series.
We really need healing. We need to know that there's hope and redemption. And we need to see a family like this, whether it reminds us of our family or whether it's the family you never had. The Baxters give people a way to find their way home.
Now, on digital, David Krumholtz stars as a curmudgeon literature professor who may or may not change his ways after a dire medical diagnosis in the subversive comedy Lousy Carter.
Do you ever feel like a fraud up there teaching?
No. It's based on some things that have happened to me and family members, and I got stuck in Milwaukee for the pandemic, and the script just sort of sprang out of me in March of 2020.
I'm a literature professor. I don't like you lounging out while I'm talking to you. I have a troubling medical diagnosis.
Sorry about this.
It read beautifully. It read fluidly. I kind of didn't put it down. I kind of was able to get through the whole thing really easily, which is a good sign. It was very straightforward. It knew what it was. It knew what it wanted to be, which is a real credit to Bob. Bob just knows what he wants to show people. I'm pursuing a grad student.
I'm fine with how you look. You're not my type, first of all.
Thank you.
If you've worked with Martin Starr, you're going to try to get him in your next movie. So there's that. I had seen Jocelyn in a movie. I thought she was amazing. I talked to Olivia Thirlby about another project. It's a pretty organic process. When I deviate from the friends and friends of friends kind of school of casting, I tend to make mistakes. I'm usually wrong. So you try to get your friends to be in the movie, and then usually they're like, hey, you should get so-and-so to be in the movie. And that's the best way to make a movie.
You're the laughingstock of the entire faculty, teaching what amounts to barely one book at the graduate level.
It's a unique name, and I think he knows that. I think the sort of craven part of him likes the idea of being special. It draws sympathy. I think there's something sociopathic about allowing himself to be called Lousy Carter, but I think it does fit in some ways. I think the movie is a lot about imposter syndrome, and I think Lousy thinks he is lousy, and that the name fits in a way. There's an absence of ego, or there is an ego, but it's totally deflated by a crushing inferiority complex. So it just fits. Tune in to find out what happens to Lousy Carter.
Stay tuned, there's more coming up on Made in Hollywood.
Made in Hollywood.
Thanks for watching Made in Hollywood, powered by MoviePhone. For more behind-the-screen content, check out MoviePhone.com.